My passion is understanding underpriced arbitrage and then being creative within it. I'm very into that. Most people don't think what they love can be a business. So what I'm about to ask you is, like, in a world where you don't know where to go, what are the things that you're most into? And whether that's golf or football or tennis or cooking, most people don't think like their love of rap is a business when it can be. You could build an enormous $20 million media property that covers emerging hip hop artists. You could. Well, I think you stay on curiosity. If I'm you, I'm Googling the biggest, literally the biggest football companies in the world, enter. And you start reading these lists and you're like, wait a minute, I do like apparel. Wait a minute, I do think it's interesting to do a pop-up and events. You can do an events business, you can do an apparel business, you can rep the athletes, you can like come up with 39 things. Well, why don't you do something where the world is now? Why don't you build an app based on AI that helps people create a training regimen for their 10-year-old on how to be better at football, where they enter in 7 questions and then behind the scenes, your AI answers that question for them ad hoc, and you charge them $39.99 to do it, and you run Facebook ads that acquires customers at $7, and you make $33 in profit because the AI does the work for you in 3 seconds. Keep pushing yourself on football. Just a different version of something else within it. For me, it costs nothing, because when you're truly in a place of not having expectation in return, it becomes net neutral. Yeah. To your point, when resentment or needs start to creep in, you get into a place where you may struggle with deploying kindness, and I'm empathetic to that. But I would argue that that is in control of you. If you wake up and you feel like, man, I'm giving, and these 4 I've been giving aren't returning, well, you're in control of stopping your giving. I really do think that people struggle with the concept of giving without expectation, even when they say it. And then what I say to friends who are good at giving to a point without expectation, but then there's a cross the line where they start to subconsciously or consciously expect, I just remind them to not cross that line.
So how do you recharge yourself?
By not crossing the line. Or when I do cross the line, by being fully accountable that I crossed the line. And so I can't be mad at Johnny or Sally or Ricardo. I crossed the line. True giving, true love, true kindness is genuinely not expecting in return. Having expectations for something in return is fine. It's just a different version of that. That's giving with expectation. And I argue that a lot of people fake give and are manipulating. I think there's so many people that posture. People love to say what they've done on their terms that nobody asked for, and then cry about what they didn't get in return. I'm cheering for everyone, right? Like, I want Luca from Pudgy Penguins to come. I want Frank the Gods to come. I want them to stand on stage and convince you to sell your beef and buy theirs. I really do. I really do mean it. I'm incredibly unusual in this space. People think they're competing with each other, and most of the activity right now is based on short-term financial arbitrage. I think they're not reacting because there's a subconscious understanding that I'm not playing to it. We're just very different. Because it's the story of my life. Like, when everyone was opening a lot more liquor stores, I opened a website in 1996, and everyone's like, I just think that I'm not doing the behavior that is enticing people for short-term arbitrage. It all plays out in the end. One of the nice things with the gray hairs is, I've seen this movie before my whole life. Do you know the wine industry hated me when I started Wine Library TV? And now, every day they talk about they wish I was back and how I changed the industry forever, and how Robert Parker and Jancis Robinson and Decanter and the Wine Spectator no longer control the industry because of me. When I tell you, as soon as I leave here and I quickly drive back to my hotel and put my head in a pillow and go to sleep, the level of calm in my chest that I know I'm doing something very good for the overall space, but I'm playing it a little different. There's so many things I could do. There's a million things I could do. There's 100 brands right now being like, what can I do for VCon? I could literally say to them, buy 200 tickets off the floor and give them to people. Then the price would go up. I'm just not affected by the short-term judgment. What more can we do? More and more and more until everyone wakes up. But right now, the climate is not based on looking at those variables. It's momentum of conversation. It's also me not, I tend to like to be the bigger person and I don't try to fight. People like to believe in cynicism or negativity as a protection mechanism. Nobody here wants to be let down by me, so it's easier to believe in the counter. People are looking for short-term arbitrage. A lot of people are logically like, Gary's doing everything and it's not moving, so let me buy a meme coin that will go up 4x based on nothing. So there's just like the majority of the community as a whole right now is strictly in for short-term financial arbitrage, which is amazing and fine, like no judgment. It's also 0.0001% of the world. Like we haven't started yet, so I appreciate it. I think you're having I think you're right, but I don't know, I'm like excited about it. Like one of the most interesting things that I've seen very few people talk about is with the emergence of AI and the scale of AI, the blockchain's about to get very important because provenance is gonna really matter as source of information. With deep fakes, blockchain's gonna become important. With creative that's made by AI, copyright and trademark, Disney's gonna put all their creative on the blockchain so that Midjourney doesn't get paid to extract from that. Like, we are going into one of the most remarkable technology decades of all time, and the blockchain is gonna be the winner. I'm excited that I fully think we're gonna win. And when I say win, I'm like, win. Like 22 years from now, everyone's like, which were the projects that did well? I'm like, I struggle to see a scenario where we're not one of the 5 of them. And so, feeling good. Like the other day, somebody out of left field just bought a ton of Series 1s. I had a meeting in Singapore. One of the reasons I went to Asia was one of the biggest art collectors in the world asked for a meeting. And I spoke to him for 30 minutes and he's like, and I've been so burned by speculation, so it was a funny meeting. By nature, I want to sell, but I was like, hey man, I'm making no promises. I'm like, I can just tell you I'm gonna work on this, but like, it was a wild meeting. Like, he was there with 2 financiers and like, basically asking me, like, should they buy $1 to $5 million of Series 1B friends and put it away for 15 years? And I'm like so shook by the last year, I'm like, you do what you want to do. Look, VFriends is a collectible with a utility, right? And like, I think about it as like, I have to make this Spider-Man 1 or Michael Jordan rookie card. And I think that's what's gonna be required for this era to win. And I'm excited about the momentum lately, kind of quote unquote behind the scenes, and we'll see how it plays out. But to your point, the micro current Web3 Twitter Discord community, to your point, I'm not sure I can do anything for them right now, and that's okay, I respect that. I'm just gonna keep building blocks and we'll see where it all ends up. Your community's gonna go there without you or not. That's an outrageously audacious answer. Like, your sentence at the end is your vulnerability. You think by you going there and making content, you're bringing your community. Your community is gonna go there regardless of you. They already have. You're only contemplating it now because they've started to. How long have you been following my content?
And I've been listening.
Right, but if you were acting on it, you would have been on TikTok 4 years ago. But because it was working for you on the other platforms, you'd preferred it didn't happen. The reason you're asking the question now is you're starting to sense that you're not converting on the other platforms at the same level because too much attention is going to TikTok. Your community's already going there, whether you post there or not. Makes sense, right?
100%.
100%, you've got to be there. Like, this is what people don't understand. You posting there doesn't move them, they're moving anyway. We don't own our community. I don't feel like I own anybody here. I feel like tomorrow I have to provide more good content, otherwise there's other options.